episode of We Bleed Purple podcast. One of our predictions came true on the show last night. Matt Trigger, Daniel Wilcox here, and Maxx Crosby is a Baltimore Raven. Um, Wilcox, I know I called this on the show last night. I'm going to take my
Man.
victory lap real quick.
Yeah, you
Um,
said one of our predictions came true. One of your predictions came true because I didn't think this shit was going to happen at all. I didn't think we was going to give up a 14th pick. I knew we would have to give up that and more. And here we are, giving up the 14th pick and more. So Maxx Crosby is officially a Baltimore Raven. Thanks to
it,
Matt
it,
Trigger.
yeah, yeah, it's crazy because I was Lamar Jackson is like the ultimate troll on social media
Right.
lately, and he posted a couple of things that were very vague, no words, um, and people thought it was Linderbaum. I thought it was Linderbaum. I thought we got something done with Lindy,
Yeah.
and um,
What did he say?
he posted a picture of um Denzel saying "boom" in one of his movies, and he didn't have any words. It was very nondescript. He likes to troll the fan bases once in a while and people on social media. But
Yeah.
uh, the Ravens give up their number 14 overall pick this year and a 2027 first round pick. We gave up no players in the deal, which
Hmm.
I find funny. And it only took 2 first round picks. We gave less to the Raiders for Maxx Crosby than the Packers gave the Cowboys for Micah.
Hmm.
So I'm thinking, like, obviously Max is a couple of years older, but this is a once in a lifetime kind of trade for Eric DeCosta.
Mm-hmm.
Guys like Maxx Crosby don't become available very often. And if you can't have Micah and you can't have Miles Garrett, Maxx Crosby's right there with those guys.
Yeah.
He's a phenomenal pass rusher, and uh, the defense just got a lot more scary with Jesse Minter because we saw what Minter got out of Khalil Mack and Odafe Owe last year, and now we have Mike Green getting paired up with arguably a top 3 pass rusher in the NFL. Um, when I posted it on my Facebook earlier, a lot of people were kind of like, why give up the first round pick? And maybe you can elaborate on this a little bit more. First round picks are never a guaranteed hit.
Yeah.
And to be completely transparent and unbiased, Eric
Mm-hmm.
hasn't always hit on his first round picks every year.
Right.
So there's nobody in these next 2 drafts that will make an immediate impact on this Baltimore Ravens team the way that Maxx Crosby can make an impact on this Baltimore Ravens team.
You know what?
Would you
I
agree?
I, I agree 100%. Like I think what the Ravens always do is they just like I told you they do with the players. They rate them 1 through 65 or whatever it may be on a roster. They do the same thing with their draft picks. They take best person available. And I guess when they looked at the 14th pick that they would have a chance of getting in those guys in that category, there was nobody within that first 14 or first 25 guys that they would have picked that they thought would have been a better draft pick than Maxx Crosby. So I cannot fault them at all for doing this. I think it was a brilliant move. I think this instantly brings excitement for next season for a new look defense with a new head coach, new D coordinator, Anthony Weaver, who's a D lineman himself. He probably pushed hard for this fucking pick because he needed somebody explosive off that edge. He knew how much of a different maker that Sis was for him, and I mean, and Jared Johnson too as well. So you if you got one extremely dynamic guy on one side that people got to pay attention to, they lead the other side 1-on-1. So I would think Green might have the best season he's ever had of his career.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People now all of a sudden it's like a lot of things are aligning today. Lamar Jackson starts trolling.
Mm-hmm.
I know I can speak with almost 100% certainty, and uh, there's no insider knowledge on this side of the talk. Um, Lamar Jackson when they came to him about this and they said, we got to make you work to get this done. If it meant getting Maxx Crosby in a Baltimore Ravens uniform for the next 5 years, 4 or 5 years,
yeah,
Lamar probably said we're gonna work something out because the money was the biggest issue because Max is making $30 million this year, but there was a clause in his contract that escalated if he was traded that the new team could drop his cap hit from almost 31 million to 7.8 million. So we get Maxx Crosby this year for under $8 million.
Wow.
Which is fantastic. So that leaves us room to still redo Lamar's contract. And not only that, but now you can rework and possibly keep Linderbaum. You can keep Ricard. You can keep some of your other key guys. You can keep Kohler. You can attempt to keep Likely. Now with this move, does Isaiah Likely want to leave? Do any of our guys really want to leave? And now you have the possibility where other players are now like, okay, the Ravens are going all in. Now they're an even more enticing destination.
You know, I like that, man, and that's well said, Matt. I mean, if I'm Isaiah Likely, I can leave and go chase the bag, or I can stay here and take one more shot at this Super Bowl. You know, I would take the tender, the tender offer if you can, franchise tag or whatever you can get. And I think I would sit it down, for one more season at least to kind of see if I can go chase the ring versus chasing the bag. And I know he'll get paid, handsomely here in Baltimore if he decides to stay. But I think having him and Mark Andrews as a 1-2 punch at tight end, just puts us in the entire another category. And now you bring in somebody like a Maxx Crosby, Anthony Weaver at DC, Jesse Minter as head coach, and then you still got Lamar and company back. I think these guys are going to feed off each other's energy, and I think it's going to be an amazing season this year. This makes me super excited. I almost didn't want to do this podcast tonight because I was already in the bed, tucked in with my, my blanket and everything, ready to go to bed. And then Matt came across with this news, and I was like, shit, fuck it, let's do it. We got to talk about this because this gets me excited just thinking about next year's season and the possibilities of what it actually may look like. And the thing I like most about Maxx Crosby, being a Raven, is that he's a high motor star. Like, there's no plays off with this guy. He's going to play to the whistle every single down. He's an absolute game wrecker, and that's exactly what we need. And I think this defense is going to be extremely explosive. I don't think it's by coincidence that we get a new head coach and Madubuike is okay all of a sudden. He can come back. He's playing, Now we got Maxx Crosby, everything. Like, everything seems to me is like it's starting to fall in place. I think the Ravens know they need to get offensive linemen, and those guys are going to fall a little bit later in the draft. And they're going to go take a shot at an early offensive lineman to try to help us out.
Yeah. Now here's the question I wanted to ask you. The Ravens, I'm gonna preface it by saying this: the Ravens have never traded first round picks for premier players. This is the first time any Ravens general manager has traded away a first round pick to bring in a bona fide star. Do you think that this is simply the Ravens going all in for a Super Bowl, or do you think this was a move by Eric because Steve has shown in the offseason that he's not playing around anymore, and he just fired an 18-year tenure head coach, and that if he didn't do something drastically different, that he could potentially be on the chopping block, so to speak, if things didn't look up with this new regime at coaching staff?
I agree. I agree 100%. I think Steve is being very aggressive right now. I think he feel like he's missed out on 2 or 3 Super Bowls in a row, and this season was just the freaking icing on the cake. So I agree 100%. Like, I do feel like Steve, him and Eric sat down. They're good friends. I think they talked about this thing over and over again, and I thought they felt like in order to make a splash and head in the right direction, they're going to take the shot at somebody that could actually come here and be a game wrecker and help us change the defensive perplexity of where we've been going, because the direction hasn't been good as of late. And I think they tired of that shit. It's time to go get this ring that we should have got the last 3 years in a row. And then the one that we missed back with Mark Ingram and all those guys were here with the big trust movement. So I'm happy about this. Go ahead, Matt.
So, and the thing is, I was thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
When we were getting ready to go on air, the Ravens haven't had a premier pass rusher since Sis,
Right.
and then they had the couple years where Sis and Doomerville were together, which was an amazing stretch post Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this opens up a completely different dynamic for this team, though. Now for this defense,
It
because
does.
now you have a top 3 pass rusher, and now you have Mike Green that's going to see one-on-ones. If Matabike comes back and returns to any type of form,
Yeah.
you got to account for Matabike.
Mm-hmm. Travis Jones.
Travis Jones came into his own. I was on the Travis Jones train all year long,
Mm-hmm.
and then now that makes Roquan's job easier because he's not going to have to be in pass coverage nearly as long if you get pressure. And
Yes.
then Kyle Hamilton on the back end, and then when he's playing close to the line of scrimmage, you got multiple game records in that front seven now with Maxx and Hamilton and Roquan. There's more to it than just a couple guys and a couple hopefuls. We're not kicking the treads again on a draft pick or a 35-year-old guy that's looking for one more contract and one more shot at a ring.
Mm-hmm.
This is different now. You have a
I
bona
agree.
fide superstar,
I agree.
and now it's like the Super Bowl window might have closed at the end of last season, but now
Mm-hmm.
if Lamar gets this contract out of the way, and we can keep Linderbaum and you add Maxx Crosby,
Yeah.
you're cooking with grease now. This is a whole different ball game here, and I for one am excited to see what they do because now, I, maybe from this is strictly from a player perspective. I want to ask you, Wilcox,
Shoot.
if you're a 31, 32-year-old offensive lineman that gets cut by your team, like for instance, Taylor Decker is getting released by the Lions. Zeitler's going to be a free agent. Wyatt Teller just asked for his release from Cleveland, and it was granted. If you're a 31, 32-year-old lineman, then you know you can still ball out, and you know the Ravens have one missing piece on that offensive line to make this shit work. Because I know Emory Jones is going to start next year. He's healthy enough. Don and somebody else said it in the comments. Do you think a veteran O lineman will take less to get on this roster and go chase a Lombardi?
I think almost anybody in the league that's made money over time would definitely take less to come here to take a shot at the Lombardi Trophy. You know, I don't know how much less they'll take. I don't know what that looks like either. But
Right.
I know right now, if I had a chance to block for Lamar Jackson, I know he's even if I'm wrong, he gonna make me right. You know, I just got to go next level fast. You know, and I think me personally, I'm taking that shot. I know I'll do better than Daniel Falele did last year. And if I'm a guard, this is the place I want to be. This is the place I want to play. I mean, how faithful was this team to Daniel Falele? I
Right.
mean, all season long, you did probably the worst offensive guard in the league. Start all season long, put your quarterback at jeopardy every single rep. To me, I want to play for somebody that's going to be loyal to me, somebody that's going to hold me down, and then I also want to be a guy that's going to be a high performer, so they can appreciate the difference that I'm going to make for this organization and for this team. And I would block my ass off for a guy like Lamar Jackson, knowing that he's going to do some dynamic shit if I just give him a chance to.
Yeah, and it's definitely gonna attract more
Mm-hmm.
guys that want to come here because now on the defensive side of the ball, you have an all pro at every single level of the defense. You have an all pro defensive end. You have an
You
all
do.
pro nose tackle. You
You
have
do.
an all pro middle linebacker. You have an all pro safety. And hell, if Marlon's still here, you have a former all pro cornerback. And now it's a completely different dynamic. And I ragged on Marlon all year, Wilcox. I
Yeah, you
gave
did.
Marlon the blues.
Yeah, you gave more than the hell all year long.
I gave him help, and it was deserved sometimes, and sometimes I was just being salty.
Yeah.
But now it's a big difference if this secondary only has to cover a receiver for 1.5, maybe 2 seconds, as opposed to covering them for 3.5 to 5 seconds, where coverages break down. It To me,
Mm-hmm.
I agree with LeBrent. LB, I agree with you, dog. That's 100%.
I agree with him too. What do you think? What do you think about this, man? I'm sorry to change subjects, but what do you think about this shit?
I
Because
know you
Rico,
replied to Rico, you're my boy.
three
Rico,
times already on the chat.
yeah, he said it.
So
Here's the thing. I
I
understand
want to know
why
your
people.
opinion. Tell me.
I understand why people want Diggs,
I don't. Go ahead.
but here's why it's not going to happen. He wore out his welcome in Minnesota. He wore out his welcome in Buffalo. He wore out his welcome in New England after 1 year. The off the field distractions
Yes.
don't make up for what he does on the field. Diggs still thinks he's a wide receiver 1, and he's not. He's a wide receiver 2.
He's
And
a wide receiver. No.
for you, he's a no. But are you can't we're not number one, we're not going to pay him what he still wants. That's first and foremost. And then all the issues with Cardi B and the off the field stuff. This is a whole new coaching staff. Half these guys are younger than him that are coaching this team now. He's just an unnecessary headache. This isn't our Antonio Brown, Tom Brady, kumbaya kind of thing where anybody thinks Lamar can fix Diggs. Nobody can fix Diggs. The man's a hoe off the field, and the man's got issues with every sideline that he's played on so far. If he's a dynamic, game-changing wide receiver, but how are you on your 4th team in 4 years?
He's such a distraction to the point that I think he could come in and unravel everything you got going on right now with the squad. And you have to be really, really careful with team chemistry. You don't want selfish guys. You want guys to come in here that's going to fit in and going to actually buy into what Mentor and company is actually trying to bring to the table right now. You don't want guys that's going to be a distraction and just doing all these off the field antics and stuff like that. So, I agree with Matt. I don't think he's the right person to bring here at all.
Now, I wanted to address my homeboy Julian. I've known Julian Wilcox. I've known Julian since we were like 13 years old, so I've known this man a long time. He's a diehard Cincinnati Bengals fan. So, with that being said, he's upset because now in the AFC North, you have the best 3 pass rushers in the NFL.
The best.
And Joe Burrow has to see them dudes 6 times a year.
Yep, he should be upset. I don't blame
I would
you.
be upset too because
I would be upset with every move that the Ravens make on defense if I was him.
I mean, yeah. The Bengals are the only team now. I mean, they invested in their offense, and that's all well and good. But 6 times a year, you got Watt, Garrett, and Maxx, and they're all going to be competing for that 25 sack season. Because now you got to get 24 to have the record set by Garrett this year. So, yeah, I get it. I understand the hate.
I do too. We coming though. We coming for you. I'm telling you that right now, Julian.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. Joe might dice us up, but the thing is, Joe didn't have to worry about a pass rush. Now,
no, I don't agree, Julian.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't agree.
I understand that, like, the shock value of the 2 first-round picks might be a lot for a lot of people to accept, but let's just be realistic. Wilcox, you played in the league for a long time.
Yeah.
There's not many first-round picks that fall in the mid-teen range. They're going to come in here and be a dynamic day 1 game changer. That's a top 3, top 5, top 10 ordeal. Now, we could have gotten the best offensive lineman available or the best defensive lineman available. Ruben Bain could have fell to 10 and we could have moved up. But there's no pass rusher in this draft that can come in and do what Maxx Crosby is going to do this year.
Yeah, I agree. We made the right decision, the right choice.
Yeah.
And plus, next year if we go win the Super Bowl, we're going to pick 32 in the first round.
Right. So we're giving up it's essentially a second round pick because everything after 20 gets dicey because everybody that's in the draft that's ranked a mid first round pick, they can be a third round pick if they fall. All it takes is one team to not like them.
The only thing I can say is that Lamar got drafted number 32.
Right. He got drafted, but that wasn't our 32. That was the Philadelphia Eagles 32.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy to think that we got probably the most dynamic quarterback in the history of the NFL at a 32nd pick. It just goes to show you how dope the Ravens really are.
Yeah, I it's it's really crazy how we have a generational quarterback. We have a borderline generational pass rusher now because Maxx Crosby's just don't fall into everybody's lap every year. And here's the funny thing, Wilcox, because it came out from Adam Schefter that we outbid the Dallas Cowboys out of everybody or Maxx Crosby. So I want to know the Cowboys line of thinking where you trade Micah Parsons and then the following year you want to go get Max because you know you fucked up. Dallas offered them a first and a second. We offered 2 ones. I'm cool with that because now Max epitomizes Baltimore to me. He's got the temperament. He's got the swag to him. I mean, the dude used to smoke blunts on post game interviews on live television and didn't give a shit. Like
when you say blunt, it sounds like he's smoking weed. So you gotta.
He was smoking it looked like a backwoods.
He's probably smoking a cigar or something like
that. Yeah. I like how you politically corrected that.
I don't think he was on national television smoking weed, even though in Cali you can.
Yeah. Yeah. We got a South Baltimore sizzle. You know, that's what it is. I'm excited because now this takes pressure off of our secondary to perform. It takes pressure off of the guys that are covering. Now you can really put Kyle Hamilton wherever you want now. A healthy Maxx Crosby. And a lot of people, that I saw on social media like, oh, he was hurt last year. He had a meniscus injury. He got it cleaned up. He wasn't really feeling being in Vegas anymore. So he wasn't going to go out there and
right.
I mean, he pretty much went through the motions and played when he felt like it, I guess you can say. But Crosby is going to come over here rejuvenated. He's going to be healthy. It could be one of those situations where we could see a return of the Ravens defense, and it actually means the return of like a nasty Ravens defense. Because like you said at the beginning of the show, Wilcox, high motor, high effort. He plays the run. He's an excellent pass rusher. He's a leader in the locker room. This is a game-changing move. I didn't think Eric DeCosta had the balls to do this, man. I really didn't. Because we ended the show last night and I said, my pipe dream is Maxx Crosby. My reality is A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I was saying, like, I didn't think it would happen because of the fact that I thought we had to give up too much to get him. But when you think about what we gave up, I don't actually think that was too much at all, But I did say throw Bateman in the mix. You remember that?
Yeah.
If you're going to get him, throw Bateman in the mix to see what happens, But, hey, a first-round pick, 14th overall, we really need O linemen right now, mainly, and D linemen. We just picked up a hell of a freaking D lineman just now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think I'm good. I'm not tripping at all.
Neither am I.
I'm a fan. Good job, Eric.
Yeah.
EDC, nice job.
Eric did a fantastic job because he solidified. He killed 2 birds with 1 stone. He solidified the pass rush with that trade, and for a fact that Lamar Jackson is going to sign another extension. They just brought in a generational pass rusher. Eric showed Lamar that they're trying to. Who was Dalton Risner? Come on, Julian. Come on, man. But now everything's falling into place. Now let's go find us another offensive lineman. The draft is deep at O-line this year, so I'm not worried about that. We can find a guard in the 2nd or the 3rd round. I'm cool with that. That's also a good point, Joe, that Connor McGovern's a fantastic center. If Linderbaum leaves, we can make that work. And I mentioned the one guard from the Browns, Teller.
Yeah.
Teller at left guard, and Emory Jones at right guard, and you got the bookend tackles. This looks good, Wilcox. This looks a lot better than it did 24 hours ago when we were last on the screen, because
it did.
I was just thinking to myself, like, what would it take to get Crosby? Even after we were done the show, I'm like, what would get this done? Like, would they want 3 first-round picks and a player? Because are they going to be like overly obnoxious about their demands? But he's a Raven, man. this is incredible, and
It is incredible.
I'm wondering what they're going to do because Travis Jones is currently wearing 98, and his jersey's going to be for sale next week when the trade goes through because you can't make the trade official until March 11th. So we got a 5-day wait period for that. The comments are rolling in now, man. I'm seeing them come up on the side of the screen. Julian, he's generational. He's a top 3 pass rusher in the NFL. You can't tell me anybody's better than him besides Watt and Myles Garrett. There's nobody in the league that is better than these 3 guys, and he's ours now. He's a Raven. It's okay. I understand. Let the hate just run through you. Let it settle. You'll be okay one day.
What do you think about this, Matt? What do you think about this question?
Well, we talked about that earlier. Like you said, is likely going to want to go get the bag, or does he want to get that ring? Because there's only a couple teams that would sign him that have Super Bowl aspirations. He's going to get a bag from a team that has a tight end need that isn't as good. If likely can take a 1-year prove it deal and then hit free agency next year, I would take that because then you can get away with not bringing in another wide receiver of significance and having to overpay for their services.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at. And Julian, Trey Henderson is not better than Maxx Crosby. Please stop with the delusional talk on this. This is a Ravens show, and there's gonna be no Ravens slander on this. So, yeah, Crosby is that. If anybody that has a set of eyes and has watched Maxx Crosby, you know that dudes like him don't come around very often. That is what generational is. And LB, you're right, bro. They choose paper all the time.
I could tell you my experience, LB, right off rip. Like when it was my time to hit the free agent market when I was in Baltimore, I actually didn't take the paper. I was the first free agent signed that off season. They didn't want me to hit the free agent market. They signed me right before free agency started, and I could have said, "No, I'm going to wait and see what the market looked like." But I wanted to be a Baltimore Raven. I was loyal. I didn't want to go anywhere else. I was very excited with a team that saw the best version of me. Versus the 2 teams I was at prior to Baltimore. Couldn't figure out what I was, but Baltimore saw it instantly. Billick saw it instantly. Ozzie saw it instantly, and they wanted to keep me. And I thought it was dope that they came to me first. They guaranteed every single penny that I got. It wasn't a whole lot, but I was the highest paid backup tight end in the league at the time, and I didn't go chase the bag. I could have easily went somewhere and tried to be the starter, and I wanted to be a starter. But I decided to stay in Baltimore because I thought we was going to have a shot to go and get a ring. And it was mainly because we brought in a guy like Steve, Steve McNair. So I can tell you that I didn't chase the bag. So it's definitely a guy out there that could possibly be thinking differently. I think Isaiah he betted on himself this year. Had a couple bad plays that people probably remember more than all the good stuff that he did, which is crazy because the kid did a ton of good stuff. He also had an injury that kind of kept him from, playing a lot this season. He was hurt early on. And I think that didn't allow him to be able to put his best foot forward and get a chance to play the way he wanted to play this season, which that hurts you on the free agent market. But there's a team out there that saw Isaiah likely make plays here the last 2-3 years. And I guarantee you that somebody's going to offer some serious money to have him come in to be their starting tight end. If I had any advice to Isaiah Likely, go somewhere where there's a great freaking quarterback. Because if the quarterback is no good, the money ain't gonna matter. You're gonna be miserable, bro. You're in a much better situation than I was here in Baltimore. I had Matt's favorite quarterback, Kyle Bowler, for most of my career. But you got Lamar Jackson as a quarterback, and he loves throwing to the freaking tight ends, pretty much no matter what system you put him in. So if I was Isaiah, I would think real hard about what team I go to, and I would think really hard about who the quarterback is, and I would cross both fingers that quarterback does not get hurt and go down, and I get a chance to be the dynamic pass receiver and tight end that I really am.
That's a perfect rebuttal, and that's the benefit to this show, man, is having a NFL player actually break down the thought process, because we can only speculate what players want, but you being a retired player and being able to choose your fate. And LB's right again. He went to likely a lot late in games, and um likely made one of those brilliant he made the brilliant catch against Pittsburgh before Loop missed. And speaking of Loop, Wilcox, a lot of people are on social media saying build a statue for Loop, because if he doesn't miss that kick, this never happens.
Okay, real talk. Yeah, he
You know,
absolutely. You heard what Bashotti said. He said, "Will Harbaugh still be here if Luke make that kick? Yeah, for another week. And if he won that next game, he'll be here for another week. And you win the next game, he'll be here for another week. If
right.
you won the Super Bowl, you wouldn't be able to get rid of him."
Yeah, it's so crazy, because just last night we were talking about, would the Ravens give 25 million a year to Trey Hendrickson? Would they give 20 a year to a guy like Jalen Phillips or Boye Mafe? Now you don't have to worry about that. You got an absolute monster,
Mm-hmm.
a tatted up monster ready to come. He's a Raven. I can't wait to see his press conference. That's gonna be a magical situation right there. And I want to see I want to see Eric's grin, because he's been looking uncomfortable at a lot of these press conferences lately. So especially when Big Dog Steve is there, yeah, that's gonna be good. So this also changes the dynamic of our show a little bit, because now we don't have to worry about covering any first round prospects. So our research for the draft gets a hell of a lot easier.
Right.
And um, what LB just said, we talked about Owe coming back last night too.
Yep, we did.
I mean, you didn't believe that he'd come back here because of the way we did him, just trading him in the middle of a contract year. Um, but I mean, he's gonna get the bag. I wouldn't be surprised if he went to the Raiders or Hendrickson, to replace Crosby. They got the money for it. I mean, they just took 30 million off their books for this year.
Yeah. It was just crazy to see how Owe went there and just flourished. Like have a Khalil Mack on the other side and all the attention being taken off him. He was able to just go and make some crazy plays, and it's like he was one step faster over there than he was here. It's wild.
And now the guy that made him look great is now coaching Maxx Crosby.
Correct.
So you have a great defensive coach, and then Weaver's a great defensive line coach, who's our defensive coordinator, like you said earlier in this show. I'm excited to see what Weaver and Minter are going to come up with for this guy, because it's going to be electric.
I agree.
Yeah, and what LB said is that Minter brought him back to life. Now you got a rejuvenated all-pro pass rusher, a second-year Mike Green, where hopefully he can make that leap to being the guy that gets there to the quarterback instead of almost, like he was a lot this year.
I mean, almost.
For a while he was leading the team in sacks, and he only had 3.5.
Yeah.
So we'll see what the Maxx Crosby effect is for the other pass rushers. Tavius Robinson's going to be back. I'm excited to see him healthy. He broke his foot. Yeah, this can be the start of something great. I now my confidence is that Eric's not done. We're gonna get the Lamar Jackson contract situated. I think they keep Linderbaum, and there's something else. I think Eric is going all in. This is an all in move, so I don't think we're done.
I don't think we're done either. I think we do got to get a couple more veteran guys in instead of young guys. I'm worried about the cornerback position. I think Marlon Humphrey needs to be out or move to safety, like we talked about last night. And then we need another corner on the other side of two. I love too. I think he needs to be put in roles where he can actually get handsy a little bit more and be up close and personal with receivers. More bump and run or man to man type stuff. Let him kind of shut down his side of the field because anytime he goes one on one, boy, if it's him versus the receiver, kids talking cash shit. Nate Wiggins is a dog when he's one on one and he plays man, and that's what I noticed the most about him too before the draft. Before we drafted him, he was super silky smooth, fluid, just hips are just perfect, like pause, changing direction and everything like that. And him getting his hands on the ball, pause. Damn, you got to say pause with everything you're talking about cornerbacks, huh?
Yeah.
No, seriously, man, the kid is a phenomenal man-to-man cover corner. And I think last year, us having them playing 10, 15 yards off the ball, put them at a disadvantage. He just had to come up and play catch every time a receiver caught a ball. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing exactly how good Wiggins will be with another dynamic corner on the other side of him. If you're forced to throw the ball with Wiggins playing one-on-one, I think you put yourself in a bad situation.
Yeah, you're in trouble. And not only that, LB mentioned Matabike.
Yeah.
If Matabike comes back and he's even half of what he was at his top strength, you still got to account for him.
Yeah.
I
agree.
You got to account for him, and then you got to account for Travis Jones. And then there's the pass rushing trio that we just talked about. So
yeah. I'm gonna have to put my hater blockers on. Like as long as Julian's on the chat, I got to put hater blockers on because he over there hating on the Ravens like crazy, like the Bengals are good or something.
Trenton Simpson hit Julian. Trenton Simpson didn't even start until Teddy Buchanan tore his ACL. Dog. He was a special teams gunner. I agree with you though. They need another cornerback. I hope they can bring back Awuzie to play. He was great in the nickel. He was great in spot duty when Marlon got hurt. I liked him. I thought he played played fantastic this year.
I do too. I just don't think he's a shutdown corner for as the starter. I think he's a nickel guy and a guy that can come in and spell any corner that gets hurt. But I just don't think he's our starter right now. Now, Awuzie, don't take it personal. That's just how I feel right now. I don't know what you're gonna do this offseason or what kind of work you put in this offseason. You can come back. You was a step away or a hairline away sometimes from making plays. So making big plays. You made a bunch of plays for us last year. Super thankful for that. I would love to have you back as well. I agree with Matt, but I still think we need to go get a big, like a stud corner.
He was a former Bengal, and of course Julian's saying that he was trash. But here's the thing: he played for trash. Right. He played trash because the entire Cincinnati Bengals defense is trash. There isn't a player on their defense that would start in Baltimore.
Yeah, you got to put your hater blockers on too for Julian, Matt.
The thing is,
everything he said.
Outside of Trey Hendrickson, nobody on the Bengals would start for the Ravens on defense. Nobody. All their star powers on the offensive side of the ball. They got three guys. They got $200 million tied up in a quarterback and two wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna have fun giving up 55 points a game this year.
Yeah.
So, because you don't got shit anywhere else.
Trash. What my boy say? Trash.
They were in the Super Bowl. Let me just be an absolute hater for 1 second. Y'all made the Super Bowl during COVID, and then on top of that, y'all lost. How do you brag about losing a Super Bowl? A Baltimore Ravens fan could never brag about losing a Super Bowl because every Super Bowl the Ravens make, they win. They win when they go. I'd rather not go than go and lose.
I agree.
Wilcox, you played in one Super Bowl and you won a ring.
Yeah, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in going to a Super Bowl to lose. That sucks. You talking about the worst fucking feeling in the world? Go to a Super Bowl and lose it. The people that lost the Super Bowl, they're not saying like, man, at least we made it. Nobody's saying that shit.
Yeah.
No, nobody want to go to a Super Bowl and lose.
Yeah,
you want to win the game.
We don't lose Super Bowls in Baltimore. Yeah, when we go, we win them.
We 2 for 2. We're gonna be 3 for 3 after this season.
I like the confidence. See, our confidence wasn't here last night, but 24 hours later, we're here
right now. It's here right now.
Oh, now he's making excuses. It's okay.
Yep. Matabike and Crosby will make life hell for our O-line. I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. And he got and Green on the other end too. He's gonna make life hell for him too. He already made life hell for O lines this year and didn't have no help.
Yeah, and he didn't have
Struggled.
any help. He was getting pressure. He just wasn't getting to the quarterback. I mean, he was getting mugged in some of those games. We
He
talked about
was.
that during the season. He was getting
Yeah.
mugged.
Yeah,
But
cheating at
now,
referees. I think
now,
all the referees was Bengal fans.
yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
This is a good move though. A great move. I'm happy that the Ravens gambled. We always look around the league and see other teams giving up first round picks for players, taking a chance on a can't miss talent, and it feels good to be talking about this as a Ravens fan because if the news would have broke that Crosby went to the Eagles or the Bears or the Cowboys, he just joins that long list of guys that was almost a Raven. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like the T.O. effect. Almost a Raven. He was a Raven for a little bit, but not really.
For all the people out there that hate on the Baltimore Ravens, we bleed purple on this podcast. We bleed purple every single day. I don't care what you say. We're always gonna bleed purple. Even if we lose every game this year, we're gonna bleed purple towards the end of
And we
the
were
season.
we were sick after a lot of these games, but
We were
we
all
were
the way up
still
into the bye.
Oh, that was I don't even want to talk about that, man. I was crashing out for like a solid 5 weeks in a row.
Yeah, we was talking about everybody getting fired. They need to clean house before they come back. They need to clean house before they come back from that bye week.
What do you
We
think is
all,
going through? I know we're getting close to the end of the show. We've talked it up enough. What do you
yeah.
think is going through Harbaugh's head right now?
I don't know. I think if anything, he's just trying to focus on the Giants right now. He's probably not worried about the Ravens as much. He know how dope this organization is. He know he lost the juice and the energy that I think it took in order to get us over the hump to the next level. He also knows he left a couple of rings on the table being here. The last 4 or 5 years, he left at least two rings on the table.
But
And I
yeah,
think I think him seeing the move that Mentor made to bring in on the coaching staff, I think he probably wish he had probably made a couple of better moves. He made some bad decisions, I think, the last 4 or 5 seasons as far as coach hiring. And it really wasn't just the last 4 or 5 seasons. When your players are as good as the Ravens players are, they've carried they've carried the team and the coaching staff, for years.
yeah,
They really have. And one thing I can say about Harbaugh is he let the guys play. And he came in hard as hell, like a bat out of hell, but then he loosened up a little bit. He lightened up a little bit. He still had some, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde in him. He would come out and pop his shit from time to time, but more than anything, he allowed the players to be themselves. I mean, what other team you got that the quarterback is wearing a diamond grill? You know, he
that's
allowed the
true.
players to be themselves, and I can appreciate that shit. I really can.
Yeah, I was just thinking about like while we were talking, like Harbaugh was here for after Suggs left in 18. He never had a premier pass rusher for the last 9 years that he was a coach here. So Mentor gets hired. He brings in young coaches. He brings in a couple of veteran coaches,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden, a month after Mentor gets hired as the head coach, he's got a shiny new toy in that pass rush catalog. That's true. I agree, LB, and I talked about this in my group chat with my homeboys when the news broke. And Wilcox, I wanted to ask you: do you believe that this is the biggest trade in Ravens history?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was sitting there thinking about when I played in Baltimore, the 5 seasons I was there. I was thinking about who came in that made a big splash like this. The only person I could think of was Dion. The entire time. Derek Mason was huge for us.
Yeah,
Of course, Steve McNair was huge for us. They was on the end of their careers, and I just feel like Mason just kind of got extended when he got here. I remember Trevor Price coming in and being a huge move and pick up for us, and he played his ass off for the Ravens. Um, I can't really think of a trade that's probably bigger than this one. I
and,
can't think of. I
yeah,
mean, Samari Rolle was a big pickup for us too, as well at corner.
and Anquan Bolden later on.
Yeah, he was after I left. He came
Yeah,
after I left, but Bowden was good for us. But I don't think there was a move. If Maxx Crosby come here and do what we think he can do, myself and you, then I think this may be definitely the biggest move ever in Ravens history as far as a trade pickup.
Yeah, I mean, this was a perfect early birthday present for me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Steve Smith was a big one too.
yeah. Steve Smith was a lot of these guys were great acquisitions, but I just can't think of any trade in Ravens history that resulted in
Yeah, Roquan,
this
Roquan Smith.
a cornerstone piece to your team. I
Hmm.
mean, he instantly makes this Ravens team dangerous again. And we had a lot of work to do. We still do. I'm not saying that this is the end of the work. You still got to go play the games and you still got to go and win in January when it matters. But now we don't have to worry about going into the playoffs next year and worry about a lack of a pass rush. I think that he instantly adds credibility to this.
Yeah, knock on wood, man. This whole
Yeah.
game is about staying healthy. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, you can have the biggest, best names in the world, but if they can't stay healthy, shit, it's gonna be a long fucking season. So I'm hoping, I'm praying, I'm knocking on wood. I'm sending all them but good vibes out there, and these guys stay as healthy as possible. And they turn up big, man. We need all these pieces of the puzzles to be in place when December comes and January come. We need to be right there where we need to be. But I think this is probably turning out. It's going to probably shape up to be one of the most dynamic rosters we've ever had, and we kind of felt that way last season a little bit as well. I mean, when you get guys like Derrick Henry, he was a big trade pickup for us as well. But when you get guys like him, Lamar Jackson, and then you think about how explosive this offense is with Zay Flowers and company, and Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, all those guys. Even Keaton Mitchell being the number 2 guy at running back, and Justice Hill, who got hurt last year. But you start thinking about how dynamic our offense is. I mean, this could easily be one of the most explosive offenses in the entire league. I do think Lamar will come back for camp.
Yep.
I think he'll show up. I think he'll be here on time. I think this move have definitely helped solidify that. And he's going to want to be the leader on the offensive side of the ball. So you can't lead your team if you don't show up when they need you to show up the most. I think the same thing with Maxx being here. I think he'll be here early as well to learn the new defense and to put
Yep.
the time in and build that chemistry with his teammates. Just trying to figure out what he got to do best to be great.
That's true because, Max comes in, Lamar comes in, everybody's going to come in, and then you have a head start on learning the new playbook and the terminology and you
Mm-hmm.
get the cohesion. These guys have all played together for years, and all the timing and all that's going to be there. But now,
Yeah.
just the playbook is the biggest thing,
You know
and
what? You know what I'm thinking, Matt. Like I'm thinking, like we were sitting here talking about last night whether or not it was a good move for the OC to blast Lamar like he did. And I still don't think that's a good move. But I think what would have been a powerful move and a huge statement is just call Lamar and say, hey, I'm gonna need you here for training camp. I'm gonna need
mhm,
you here for mini camps, OTAs, whatever I need you. I need you here for everything this year, so I can get you up to speed and I can find out all your likes, everything that you love, and I want to implement all those things.
mhm,
And if your trainer is the issue, me myself as the OC, I will pay for your trainer to come up here and train you and put him up for the months that he needs to be here for you to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like I think that would be a huge move, a smart move. Hell, Tom Brady training was inside. He was getting paid by the damn Patriots damn near. So if Tom Brady can do it, why can't Lamar Jackson do it? And I think if I'm a Ravens coach on that staff, I would have been suggesting that shit right away. Hey man, if his trainer is the issue, fly his ass up here. We'll pay him for the month. Whatever he is, whatever he got going on, I'll pay it out of my own pocket.
yeah,
Whatever he's making a month can't be more than 20K a month. So let him
that's
come
true.
on up. And I'm
Yeah,
guessing that.
yeah, and it's totally fair. I believe that this is going to set. I think the wheels are already in motion. In
Yeah.
the next couple of days, um, if Lamar Jackson does sign in the next couple of days, it wouldn't shock me. I think it's already been the wheels are already turning, and then if they can lock down Linderbaum and then go after a couple of other guys, Kohler, likely, Ricard, Gilman, Ardarius, get some of these guys under contract, and then kind of see what free agents are willing to come here.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be, a great situation all the way around. Just join with the quick.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a good question, Matt.
it is. After this move, I don't think trading Roquan is going to be a productive thing. I know he's making a lot of money. I know that his cap hit is north of 30 million.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more realistic at this point that he does a short-term extension and contract reworking as opposed to getting moved, because I don't think you go out and trade for Maxx Crosby then immediately trade Roquan Smith. You might get a draft pick back for him, a day 2 pick, but nobody's giving us a first for Roquan. We didn't even give a first for Roquan. We gave a second round pick. And I just don't see it being a smart thing where Roquan gets moved. I understand he makes a lot of money. I understand that he is getting a little bit slower as he gets older. But the dynamic changes when Matabike comes back. I'm talking that into, I'm talking into fruition. A healthy Matabike, a healthy Maxx Crosby with Travis, with Mike Green. I think you see a completely different Roquan. He's not going to be getting touched as much. They're not going to be getting to the second level to hit him as much. He's going to be able to read and react a lot more cleanly.
And he won't be the main priority.
He's not going to be the main priority because now you got Max. You still got to account for Hamilton. You're going to have to account for. You're going to have to account for Matabike. You're going to have to account for Jones, who is a disruptor. So it's going to open up a lot
Green
or Roquan. So it would be counterproductive to the mission. Clearly, we're all in.
We got some freaking dudes.
Yeah, we got some dudes, but like you don't go trade for Maxx Crosby just to turn around and trade Roquan Smith.
Mm.
You know, it just doesn't make sense. Yeah, like Wilcox, you just said a couple minutes ago, health is the key. If we have health, if everybody stays healthy all over this defense, yeah, you're talking about a monster defense now.
Yeah,
and mixed in the offense is going to be explosive again. We're bringing back everybody on the offense minus likely potentially, and likely could stay. It's always a possibility. He left the door open in an interview. And we're probably not going to have D-Hop back. We're probably going to go fishing for unless D-Hop wants to come back. I would love D-Hop back. I know that you're a D-Hop guy too. So we catch radius is insane still in his mid-30s. Yeah, he's got like a 10-foot diameter catch range.
Yeah, I think we need to hold on to D-Hop and implement him more on third downs and fourth down situations. He should be one of the like the top 2 go-to guys in those situations.
Yeah, this is gonna do wonders for us, and I firmly believe that Crosby's the first of many moves that we're going to be covering on this show in the next couple of weeks. I believe Lamar and Linderbaum are not far behind. I want to see how Eric is going to work this whole cap situation. He's been a wizard the last couple of years making things work, but this is large scale, Wilcox. This is this is a large undertaking right here because you got to get Lamar done, and then you got to get Linderbaum done. You don't want to lose Linderbaum in the free agents.
I truly believe, Matt, that we got to get creative with the contracts.
Yep.
So what I started to think about is some of the baseball players and even the basketball players that retire and they still was getting paid 10 years later, 15 years later, 20 years later. And when I started to think about us, why can't we do something like that? I know you hear how it is for athletes, to go broke after about 5 years. Mm-hmm. So let's say you just take Lamar money, you give him all guaranteed money, but he only hits your cap 35, 45 million a year, and he gets, 10 mil a year every year for the next 20 years or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen a deferred contract in the NFL, but that would be something.
I haven't either, but I just think instead of having to give all that money right now, like I would take that deal. I get 10 mil. I'm retired the next 20 years, and I'm still getting checks from the Ravens. I would take that damn deal. I don't have to worry about where my money coming in from, and it allows me to kind of be able to live a little differently too as well. I know your financial advisors, of course, are going to be like, no, bro, take the money. But a guy like Lamar, the thing that he's missed out on the most, I feel that I could be wrong. I don't know 100%. I'm not in his pockets, and I don't watch his bank account, but I just haven't seen him in enough endorsement deals. And what I remember about Michael Vick was that Michael Vick had the first $100 million deal on the field, and he had the first $100 million off the field deal with Nike. So I would like to see Lamar get something off the field that would compensate that 30 or 40 million that he's going to lose, per year if you was to do a deferred type contract where he gets paid 40, like 30 million, 40 million a year this year, 35 next year, 40 again the next year, 35. You know what I'm saying? And then when he retires, he get 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 like every year after he retires. And then that'll give you a chance to go get some dogs to help him win a couple of Super Bowls before he retires.
I'm with you. I know that Eric's got his work cut out for him. It's not lost on me that we still got a lot of moves to make.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said at the beginning of the show, I don't think DaCosta makes this move without knowing that Lamar's signing a new deal. I don't think he makes this move knowing that there's still a potential that Tyler Linderbaum signs on the dotted line.
I agree.
So other things are already probably agreed upon to make this thing work because Crosby's going to make a lot of money the next 3 or 4 years. So
sure is. Hopefully he makes it all here with us. I like that. I like having Isaiah Likely back. I'm a huge Isaiah Likely fan. Of course, I'm a tight end, so I love to see the tight end stay put. Especially when you got two guys as dynamic as Mark and Tyler, and then Kohler had played his ass off for us too. And then we can't forget Pat Ricard because he's such a dynamic, versatile player for us. We kind of forget he's a tight end too. So we got 4 tight ends in the room. I think that are dogs, and they can pretty much play anywhere. And I'd love to see all 4 of those guys back if possible.
Yeah, I want Likely back. I was just trying to, from a realistic perspective.
No, I totally get it, Matt. You've been spot on, so you might be right. You probably going like a win. Shit.
I mean, but I don't want that. I just think that, like you said earlier, somebody's going to pay Isaiah Likely to be a tight end 1.
Yes.
I don't necessarily know if he's going to risk his body again to possibly not get a big contract in next year. I'm going to err on the side of caution and say that he's gone. But if Likely resigns, that's a fantastic move. I love Isaiah Likely. I think he's going to be fantastic wherever he plays next year. That's not an issue to me. I think he's going to be great.
I agree, man. I really do. I think Isaiah will get, number 1 money, number 1 tight end money. He deserves it. I'm not going to sit here and play like he don't deserve it. Yeah. But I'm telling you, man, like coming up with some creative contracts and making sure that everything is guaranteed, to me, is the way to go. You got to come up with some creative stuff. And you got to think about the deals that the Ravens have as well and the connections they have. I'm sure they're able to try to get some endorsement deals to kind of offset some of this stuff too as well. I think that's the key, bro. Like, I really do. Like, when you think about guys like a Brady, he got paid, little from the Patriots, but he had all these endorsement deals, had his own clothing line, had all those type of things going on, and he was winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl. You build a brand. What they say, field of dreams. You build it, they will come.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he built the brand that's unbreakable. That T12 line is going to always make money. Ain't nothing you can do about it. And then he's always going to be in commercials. He's always going to have all type of brand endorsement deals from now to the rest of his life. So, I mean, when you start looking at those type of things, you have to put things in perspective. And there's no way that Isaiah Likely know right now that he's going to be the superstar of tight ends in the next 5 to 10 years. I think he's dope as shit. I definitely think he deserves first, number 1 money. But you could be a great dynamic duo here in Baltimore and go win a Super Bowl, and then you could take off if that's what you choose to do. I don't think you pass up an opportunity to win the Super Bowl this year with a new staff, with all the energy and all the juice that just walked in the door, with new D coordinator, OCs, DCs, head coach, making all these moves. Maxx Crosby just got signed. Lamar finna get signed right after Crosby. I think you take what you could take this year on a 1-year deal and try to play out this season and then ball the hell out, go win you a Super Bowl, and then your check will be 2 times bigger than what you're going to get this year.
It would be a wild moment if next year we see Jesse Minter holding a Super Bowl trophy.
It's coming.
It's coming. I fully believe it. We had all the confidence in the world this time last year that we were going to be holding a Super Bowl trophy this past February, but I love the move. I love the move.
Hmm.
That's the first move of many, hopefully. Um,
Absolutely.
when we ended the show last night, I didn't think we'd be back on here less than 20 or a little bit over 24 hours later.
Me neither.
Uh,
I was about to go to
so
sleep.
yeah, I was laying in bed ready to go to sleep too. And when that news hit my phone, I'm like, let me text Wilcox and see if he's up, because there's no way I was passing this up. We've had a lot of engagement. We've had a lot of people tuning in, a lot of people commenting. Thank you guys for the engagement. Hopefully, we're going to be back sooner than later for another move, a Lamar contract, a Linderbaum contract, maybe
So
another trade. Talk about signing a veteran offensive lineman, and then we can start covering day two uh, NFL draft picks for the offensive and defensive lines.
love it.
I love this, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. I know it is almost it is midnight, so we are into the midnight hour. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Even the Cincinnati Bengals fan that you got your attention tonight, big dog, and you got it. Nothing but love, Julian. I love the work you're doing on your podcast over there, man. Um,
Yeah, thanks, Julie. Appreciate you,
Yeah,
bro.
we appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll be back for the next batch of Ravens news, and make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notifications,
Hmm.
share it with your friends in your Ravens group chats. We Bleed Purple podcast on YouTube. We are shooting for 500 subscribers before the start of the new league, the new season this year. We are currently sitting around 340. So if you can share it, we're all over social media. We're on TikTok. We are on Instagram. You can see our tags here at the bottom of our pictures for
Hmm.
Instagram and X. And that is a wrap on this show. Wilcox, let's get on out of here.
Hey, man, Bird Gang out. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate all the comments, all the likes. And don't forget to go subscribe on YouTube. We Believe Purple Podcast. See you guys next time.
Hey, Wilcox, I think you got to end. My screen froze, dog.
In screen.